Morning all. Hope you guys are having a great Monday so far. I wanted to come to you really quickly and just give you a few brief reminders. Some things to keep in mind as you head throughout this week. Keep in mind this is the last week for our class. I know you all are very excited about that. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But I do want to give you a few things to think about as you head into this last week because this last week is really important. Keep in mind the only thing you have due this week is the research essay that is due this Friday, May 3rd by 5 o'clock to the Dropbox. That is the only thing you have to work on this week. I purposely scheduled it in this way so you all would have an entire week to truly dedicate to this paper. So again, it is due this Friday by 5 o'clock to the Dropbox, no exceptions. I have to set a really firm deadline for this last paper because I will have to spend Friday evening and the weekend getting these papers graded, getting your grades finalized so that I can submit everything to eCore early Monday. So please make sure to get everything to me, get that essay to me by 5 o'clock. A couple of things to keep in mind with this essay. The first and foremost, I want to remind you all and encourage you all to be drafting throughout this week. Please, if at all possible, do not submit your first draft of this paper. This is a good thing to keep in mind, not just for a class like this where you do a lot of writing, but really for any class where you're doing a lot of writing. The first draft of any paper is typically not what you want it to be. It's not pretty, and it doesn't usually articulate what you're doing in your paper the way you want it to. A draft is meant to be a place where you just get your ideas out on paper so you can then refine, revise, proof, edit later to make your paper what it really should be. So again, you have this entire week. There's nothing else to do for this class. So please give yourself time to be drafting and proofing and editing so that what you turn into me is as polished of a product as possible. Also, keep in mind your thesis statements. Many of you are doing quite well with this. I've given you a lot of feedback for your thesis statements, but keep in mind they need to be one clearly articulated sentence. Please try to keep it at that if at all possible, and make sure that you are truly presenting an argument. It needs to go beyond just simple observation. It needs to delve a little bit deeper into your topic and into the text that you are studying. Also keep in mind formatting, MLA formatting. This is applicable not just to the heading and the work in-text citations and things like that you've been working on all semester, but particularly with your works cited. You all had to submit 3 academic sources for the last discussion board, and there were some of them that some of the little details within the citations themselves were not quite correct, and they need to be. So as you're working on this last essay, make sure to refer to OWL at Purdue and other MLA resources you might be aware of to help you out with this. While I'm speaking about the citations, I do want to briefly mention academic sources. So a good number of you provided really solid sources to me, ones that are quite applicable, scholarly texts, scholarly articles from scholarly journals, things like that are totally fine to use. Things like eNotes, Cliff Notes, other websites that aren't really academic in nature, those are suspect and you really shouldn't be using them. So if I did comment on your discussion boards about one of your academic sources, encouraging you to rethink or to potentially choose something else, please make sure to do so because you do need to have the 3 academic sources integrated into this paper along with direct quotations and paraphrase material from Death of a Salesman. And one little final note, as you all are writing out Death of a Salesman in your papers, I noticed this in discussion boards and didn't comment on it for everyone, but as you are writing out Death of a Salesman in this upcoming paper, keep in mind that Death of a Salesman is a play, and plays are very much like novels and films in MLA, that the play is going to be in italics. So please make sure to have it in italics. That is going to be something I'm looking for. It's a little fine detail, but it is a fine detail that does matter. So again, Death of a Salesman, in any instance where you mention it in your paper, should be in italics. That's really all I have for you for right now. If you have any questions throughout this week, please reach out to me. My work schedule is going to be a little bit different this week. I'm actually working from home right now, and I'll be going into the office later this afternoon and working late into the evening. So while my work schedule is going to be a little different this week, I am still going to be available to you all. I will still check into the classes I always do. So please reach out to me. Let me know if you need anything. And of course, keep in mind there will still be office hours this Friday from 2 to 4. Right before your essay is due. So it works out quite nicely that I'll be available for those 2 hours to answer any final questions you might have before you submit the paper. That's all I have for you folks. Have a great week. Draft, revise, proof, edit, all the things you need to do. And again, if you need anything, let me know. I look forward to reading your essays at the end of the week.